Back to the RavenCourt. We got Team Dynouh against Team Ultralisk. On the left side, Dynouh, the captain of the blue team, playing Hanzo in our first game in this best of 3 series. We are on Garden of Terror. Dynouh on Hanzo, Johan on Diablo. We got Captain Rex on Brightwing, Dequaz on Blaze, and Rutsu is playing Zeratul. Always a win. To the right side of the map, it's Team Ultralisk with the man himself playing Malthael, Death Knight playing Muradin, Unforgiven on Dehaka, Kelvin on Rhaegar, and Lopaka is playing Sylvanas. Pretty nice lineup actually for the red team when you think about it. They got a global, they got a lot of tools that can help them not only with wave clear but also with camp clear, and they have Sylvanas for additional push power. So pretty sweet setup that they're running here. Now, once again, the quick reminder, this is actually the tournament at hand. So I've talked a lot about how all of the games that were created by the RavenCourt bot are pre-season matches where players can show off their skills a little bit and can also just give the captains of the actual tournament a bit of an idea who they want to work with, who can they play with, what kind of synergies do they maybe have with some of the players. And then the captains, they drafted their teams. Now we have 6 teams that play a full round robin, and our first game was obviously the match between Team Dino and Team Banana Age. And now we're heading into this battle where the blue team goes up against Team Ultralisk, one of the other 4 captains. So, good stuff. And the first blood also coming in as Malthael got killed. As it happens, the captain, Ultralisk himself. Another team that you could argue is maybe one of the favorites here. It's going to be really interesting. We have a lot of strong teams, and it's going to be cool to see which team is able to make all of this work. I mean, Q has also a team, Madara has a team, so we have a couple of Americans playing in this one as well. A nice drag straight into the tower range, but nothing that really threatens him just yet. So, it's going to be interesting. Dino, obviously, with a lot of ambition for this tournament as well. There's prize money on the line. The players are going to fight for every inch here. We're going to play out a full round robin with best of 3 matches. And Dino and his team already won the first one. Now, one thing that is noteworthy here, I will not post any continuous standings simply because, as you can already tell from Dino's team playing back-to-back, there's no such thing right now that all the teams play the same amount of matches every single weekend. So the tournament organization has kind of accommodated to players' needs and availability a bit, but that at the same time means that only towards the end of this round robin phase are we going to have standings where everybody has the same amount of matches. So there's not really a point to show you standings at the beginning, so you have to actually keep up with the results a little bit to have an idea of who's currently doing well, who isn't. And I'm going to talk about it too, and yeah, let you guys know as we're heading through this. But that is not necessarily always direct comparison where you can say like, oh my god, everybody has 3 matches played, 4 matches played, and this is the standings right now. But I can tell you that Dino has won his first match, and this is obviously the first one for Team Ultralisk. And they just got a couple of kills. So we had that fight up at the top. Sylvanas was the first one to fall. But then immediately we have with Muradin jumping in a few players on the blue team also dying. Namely Diablo and Hanzo. Now that the seat is being fought over, Death Knight nearly bit the dust too. They're going again for the Angel of Death. But Ultralisk is doing a lot of dying here today. That's the 2nd kill against Malthael. So yeah, not really too lucky here. The first seed therefore goes over to Team Dynouh. Rutsu now on the rotation. Personally, I love that we have Zeratul in this game. He's a hero that you don't see all that often these days. You get the occasional Zeratul played on, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's not played at all, but he is definitely not a regular any longer. One rule in this tournament is, by the way, that every hero can only be played once during a match. So they adopted some of the rules that I use for my Meta Madness tournaments. So the tournament format that I designed for Heroes of the Storm is, at least in a light version, implemented here. There's no pre-bans or anything, but you can only pick a hero once within a series. Makes it a bit more interesting for the players and the audience. Players in particular asked for this to be used again, since they actually like it quite a lot. So just a bit of a side note as we're going through these. And if that question really comes up again, the draft is not included in this game simply because I casted it from replays. When the live games happened, I was in Germany. I did a couple of panel discussions for Aces at Gamescom, and therefore I couldn't cast it live, so I'm casting it from replays after the fact. and replays don't include any draft information. Double kill at the bot lane, and well, Johan made it out, so seems like Team Dynouh is off to a great start again. Death Knight was hoping to maybe get another connect with the front line of the blue team, but couldn't drop him regardless. Now with 7 kills to 2, the blue team has taken a significant lead here. Mirrodin gets also caught. Did he just miss jump? I think he actually just missed the jump. He jumped on point, so Death Knight is dead. He done goofed. Yeah, that is unfortunate to say the least. He jumped in position. Maybe gravity was a little bit too much this time. You know, if you have short legs like any dwarf does, then at some point maybe you're running out of steam here. He did leg training yesterday, what can I tell you? The legs are a little bit sore, and when he went for it, there was just no strength left. So, yeah, maybe he skipped leg day and has only a limited number of jumps that he can perform here. Who knows? At the end of the day, the result is the same. Our boy jumped in, well, didn't really jump, therefore died. Got locked in and got dropped. So we have level 10 abilities. We get the bubble, by the way, so with the cleave build, it is Void Prison. They can go Void Prison into Apocalypse as a wombo, and can even combo that off with the arrow. So there's a couple of different combos that they can use here. Using Hanzo's arrow into Apocalypse, using Void Prison into an Apocalypse. I mean, technically you can even go Void Prison into arrow. You can combo a lot of this stuff. It gets a lot more complicated as we're going down the list of potential combos, but we'll see what they actually use. Or you can just simply not combo anything and use them isolated, which still gives you a lot of value if played properly. Or don't use it like that. That would be my advice. That would be the one thing that we're trying to avoid. We're going to take another look at that because it was so beautiful. But that would be the one combo that I personally would not try and go for. So just because it was so cool here once again. So this is the one not to do. Comes in, gets the VP, and then the arrow travels through. Beautiful play, love it, love it. I mean, honestly, they probably heard me talk about it, and then they did it even though the game happened like several days ago, because they wanted to showcase how not to do it. It's a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment. They're showcasing just all the things that you want to avoid in your own game. So yeah, that's just what it is. I promise though, these guys are using voice. They're using voice. But again, these are obviously, I don't want to say random teams, but these are teams that are specifically drafted only for this particular tournament. That's why it's a captain's draft, why the captains that the teams are named after have drafted these teams. So of course, synergy is not on the same level as you would see from a team or washed up or someone else that have played together for several months and years at this point in time. So yeah, stuff like that just happened. Not properly coordinated. Zeratul apparently didn't see that one coming. Maybe the arrow wasn't called. Whatever it was. I'm sure as the round robin phase continues, they're going to get that synergy together. And let's not forget, they are already in the lead. They have 8 kills to 2. Arrow. Oh! Sick arrow. Traveling through the entire team fight, not hitting anybody. That in and of itself is already a skill. So, yeah, in this case at least, Dynouh wasn't able to connect this one. Maybe he's a bit asleep. His mount is already indicating that he's not fully awake. So a nice cup of coffee could help here. Good Apocalypse engage on the other hand. So Johan is currently making up for these little missteps of his captain. It leads to a kill on Rhaegar. And Death Knight! Dodging every single arrow that is thrown his way here from Hanzo and gets out. That fort, though, is about to get destroyed. We have 2 seeds to 1, by the way, and there's another seed now spawning up at the top. Dehaka can try and interrupt as Rutso channels, but there's actually nobody moving in. So that is a set of Garden Terrors. Yep, Garden Terrors are making an approach, and now we're going to see what they can do with this. Every single time that I cast in Garden of Terror right now, I am reminded of the story that Tim told, where Tim worked before he became a caster at Blizzard, worked as a caster at Blizzard, but beforehand he was part of the community team. Nice combo! Look at that. And he said that initially these Garden Terrors were called Garden Horrors. But if you say that 3 times fast and you talk about Garden Horrors all the time, it all of a sudden sounds very different. And they thought it might be a good idea to rename them to Garden Terrors. So the Garden Horse are already coming through the middle and are starting to take some forts down. The same has also happened at the bottom and the top. And they get a couple of kills, as you just saw a second ago. So that push is looking really good. And not only that, but just look at experience. We're in level 16 against 13. So yeah, they are crushing it. This is not a good look for Team Ultralisk. In their first game, they're having some trouble. At least they get a kill against Diablo. But I would be shocked if not at least one keep falls. The amount of forts that they... Actually, they might save all of them. But the amount of forts that got destroyed is already pretty respectable. Yeah. Those Garden Horse, they suck. They really suck. Well, they suck quite a bit here. But okay. Either way, we now have another push at the bottom, initiated by them killing Muradin. So maybe a chance after all to take a keep down. And 14 kills to 3. Off we go. There's the arrow, short distance, but good enough. Zones them out a bit too. And the first keep is destroyed. Okay. So, with that, we now have... Well, I thought they would take the camp, but instead they're going for another team fight in the middle. And why wouldn't they? They're 3 levels ahead and they have a talent advantage. If the red team wants to fight, by all means. Red team seems to think that the only chance for them to win the game is to go full YOLO and get a couple of kills. I'm absolutely on board with this. I mean, just go all out at this point. Go and throw a Hail Mary. It's more or less the only thing that you can honestly do. You're never going to be in a spot here where you will fight with even talents and even position on the map. So it's pretty much the only thing that you can try here. But as is, let's take a quick look at the damage. We have 34,000 from Sylvanas. 51,000 from Hanzo. Yeah, 15 kills to 3. It's actually ridiculous how far ahead they are here. It's kind of nasty. It's pretty crazy. So with that, it's now a situation in which Sylvanas is trying to maintain order at the bottom of the map. It's coming in here. Seeds are spawning again, but the blue team is unlikely to wait for seeds in order to end that game, or at least make a play to end the game, since they would still need 3. So instead they're just bullying the red team wherever they can, particularly up at the top lane now, where we have another push about to come through. No level 16 talents for Team Ultralisk, so this is the moment. This is the time. Make the play. Dehaka coming in. Bunker is already up. Diablo. Johan. Well, he is able to get out. And look at Rutsu with Zeratul just wrecking them. Oh my god. What a combo. What a slaughter. 5-man team wipe. So yeah, looking good for Team Dynouh, but that combo was sick city. Arrow, Apocalypse, Cleave, everything gets unleashed and they're getting absolutely dropped. So that is game elite for Team Dynouh as they win Garden of Terror and put themselves into the driver's seat in this best of 3 series at the RavenCourt round robin.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
And here we go, game number 2. Team Dynouh in the lead with a pretty stellar performance on Garden of Terror. And, well, they claimed victory. Now they're heading into Battlefield of Eternity with a goal to win another series with a 2-0. Now, Team Ultralisk, they obviously have a different plan, but let's look at the lineups first. On the left side, we have Dynouh and his team with Genji, Rutsu and Jaina. Johan is playing Mal'Ganis, Captain Rex on Anduin, and Day Quasar on Urel. To the right side of the map, it's Team Ultralisk with Death Knight playing main tank Uther, Stukov played by Kelvin, so double support so to say. We have Ultralisk on Alarak, Darkmog on Sonya, and Lopaka is playing Lemming. So, here we are. Already the action down at the bottom of the map, and this is a 5 versus 4 for now. Couple of nice combos for Dynouh's team in particular. We have Anduin with Light Bomb Engage and of course Genji, so that can be annoying. A good sleep setup for Mal'Ganis can also help Jaina to get her damage through properly. So there's a couple of tools that they can definitely utilize. Whereas for Team Ultralisk, it honestly seems like a lot of their hopes are hinging on Alarak doing well. With the double support, he can certainly go a bit more aggressive. Uther filling, of course, that role of a tank and a support at the same time. That gives them a lot of sustain. And as long as they can sustain themselves through these fights and keep Alarak alive, get him some decent stacks of sadism, there's a lot that Ultralisk can do in regards of damage. And behind him is Liming, who's hoping, of course, for some nice resets and extra damage. And talking damage, yeah, that was a good save from Anduin, because that would have meant the end of Jaina. That didn't look good to begin with. So, there's that. But alright, with that, we now got the low blow on level 1 as a talent. And I never really saw this, and I mean, again, Warcraft lore is pretty boring, so we're making up our own lore. But if I look at this right now, I am totally shipping Anduin and Jaina here. Both of them are whiny, and they would somehow fit. I mean, honestly, like, this is totally a thing. Anduin can be the girl in the relationship. Jaina can boss him around a bit. I actually think it's perfect. I never really thought about this. I don't know when I had a game where two of them were on the same side the last time, but the more that I look at this, the more it makes sense to me. So, I don't know, but this is really the way that Warcraft lore should work here. And the two of them are working so well together. I mean, look at this. This is an absolute dream team. They came in, yes, Genji stole the kill, but the two of them are doing exceptionally well here. So, good job. They get another kill. Team Dynouh with a 2-0 right now. And yeah, it's the power of love and the power of... what do we call this? Anduna? Jainadin? I'm not quite sure. You guys can come up with a name for the two of them. We're shipping this for sure. I mean, again, that is totally a thing. Absolutely. And if not, we're going to make it one. Now, we have the 2-0 lead for Team Dynouh. So, again, they are starting off strong in game number 2. They obviously want the 2-0 lead. I talked a bit how they won their last match against Team Banana Age. But yeah. Over here, we got the Slam build. We got Triumvirate. Talking about things that we're shipping, can you actually imagine Sonya teaming up with any other hero on the other side, being it Uther, Stukov, or Alarak? How ugly those kids would be. I mean, think about that for just a second. Normally you're running in and you're thinking like, at least they didn't get the father's nose, but at this point, boy oh boy, no matter what you go for, that kid would be so lost. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a weird one, as you can already tell, but holy shit. I'm just picking that up now. Yeah, Sonya, I mean, would be insanely strong, don't get me wrong, but not a beauty. You can only pray that it becomes a boy. If that becomes a girl, then it's lost. And yes, people are superficial. That's always the thing. Don't you hate these people that are always running around and are trying to tell you, well, it's the inner values, it's the personality that matters the most. And I'm like always sitting there thinking like, shut the fuck up. Like, who actually stands out there in the real world, you know, and walks around, and walks up to somebody that is insanely ugly, and is like, well, do you want to have a cup of coffee? You're so damn ugly. You must have a great personality and a lot of good values. It's like, no, of course you're going for the looks first. That's just how it works. That's how life works. I'm sorry. If you know somebody in a different context, maybe it's a friend of a friend or whatever, then yeah, more personality becomes more of a thing. But all of these phonies that are running around always saying like, the only thing that matters is values and personality. Is like, shut up. 5 kills to 0. And, well, this is looking like one-way street Heroes of the Storm. This is brutal. Alarak is dead, sadism lost. And I'm telling you, it is the power of Anduin Jaina. That's really what we're seeing here in the first place. So, yeah. Now that we're talking about this, I look at the blue team again, and I mean, again, like Melganis, Urel, just saying. Just saying. Melganis would swipe right, 100%. And Urel, she's always been a little bit freaky. So, there it is. Immortal number 1 is taken, 6 kills to 0. Come on, Ultralisk, you're better than that. Step it up a little bit, my friend. We need some Ultralisk action. You guys have a double support. Where's that sustain that I've been talking about the entire time? You got Uther at the front, you got this one too. It is insane. Give me some kills, give me some combos. Do we need the level 10 abilities? A little bit of full action here from Sonya, who I personally expect to go into Wrath of the Berserker, considering that they're running Uther main tank. But they could also go for a leap and just go full and try and take him down there. That was the budget version of Sonya's call, I agree, but still, somebody had to do it. Okay, so, they saved the fort at the top. Not quite sure if he... Please take it down. Dynouh wants to come in and take it on, but the team fight is also not quite over with just yet. Full 1-level lead. Dynouh's coming in, the Quasar coming in, they get another kill. It's 7 kills to 0. And right now, Team Dynouh's going through Team Ultralisk like hot butter through cheese. It is absolutely disgusting. I mean, they pick them off wherever they see them. Heroes of the Storm, whack-a-mole. They're whacking them throughout the entire map. It's pretty rough. So, yeah. What I'm also just realizing, if you're actually shipping Yrel and Mal'Ganis, it is a mix between a goat and a bat. That's kind of wild. Hooves and wings. Oh, we're creating some real abominations here, but that would be insanely strong. Can you imagine that for just a second? Boy, oh boy, that would be quite the beast. I mean, that's an auto win whenever you get that drafted. So yeah, Mal'Ganis, Yrel, beautiful kits, I can already tell you. Terrifying, but an auto win for sure. So, with that said and done, all the way up at the top, we currently have 8 kills to 0, and of course Sonya at least trying to keep those catapults in the campsite bay, but with another claimed at the bottom, there is a chance to go for the light bomb! I don't think they can get a kill here. There's 2 supports down here. They shouldn't be able to. Hello, team! No! No, Stukov goes down. Yeah, he's been demoted. Captain Rex is still alive. He made it out. Anduin, he was always good and run away from a fight. And instead, it's another kill against Alarak. The hell is going on here? 10 kills to 0. It's an absolute beatdown. That's crazy. They're going for another fort at the bottom. Sonya is done with this shit. She doesn't care anymore. She's using her PhD in PvE topside. And it's just saying, okay, I'm going to fight against minions and structures. At least they don't really fight back. And here's finally level 10 abilities for Team Ultralisk. So right here, there's the opportunity. Deadly Charge and Leap. Come on, give me that aggression. You're already going downhill here. You might as well go for it. So, yeah. That's actually true. So if you go for goat hooves and for wings, I think Mal'Ganis and Yrel, they had a thing, and that's how succubus were created. That's actually true. When I think about it, that's actually a really good point. Have you figured it out? Nobody knew where they came from until we finally revealed it, so we're onto something here. Detective Khaldor is on the case. And Team Ultralisk is hopefully on the case of getting a kill, because they haven't put any on the scoreboard just yet. They've lost 2 forts, but they need to get something done here. Give me that Deadly Charge, give me that leap, give me that kill. There's the combo on Genji, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet. Light Bomb, there's the double stun, ring, but the Divine Shield saves Stukov. And here comes the Deadly Charge, the kill, and of course it's Anduin that dies first. Of course it's him. Who else would it be? Of course it's the crybaby. I want my mommy! And he gets murdered. That's how you do it. You go for the weak link first. And he's definitely the weakest link of the bunch. He's also the one that saves everybody, so it makes double sense to go for him. Well, the bat has been killed too. And now, with 2 kills, they're all of a sudden looking at a little momentum, boys. Look at this. We get 2 kills, and they're getting an objective. They take the Immortal. Milaiki. Can they turn this? The comeback is happening. At least they're trying. 25,000 for Genji. 30,000 for Li Ming. I mean, she benefits obviously doubly from all of this. First and foremost, she has a pretty beefy front line. Beefy in the sense that there's a lot of melee characters that are trying to shield her. And with everybody's attention being oftentimes here on Alarak, Li Ming has a lot of space to work with. But Team Dynouh, they go for another magic trick. I can make this Uther disappear. Ta-da! And down he goes. Level 13 is in, and yeah, they got the Immortal, but that Immortal didn't really do anything. He's just sitting there like, boys, team, help! Well, didn't get any. The attack has failed, exactly, the announcer. So, they're going for another camp down at the bottom of the map. Problem is, of course, that level 13 isn't ready yet for Team Ultralisk. So they are just shrinking away here. Talking about Ultralisk, 96 sadism right now. Getting a little bit more ult from Urel. And do they get another stun? Where's the leap? They just don't get enough here, so they could go for another stun with Uther if he gets close enough, but everybody is already diving away from them. There's a lot of mobility too that we have on the blue team, particularly when Anduin is staying in the back and can then pull targets out. Once level 16 hits, so he's gonna have the double pull, so there's that. But yeah, 60 stacks on level 4 now for Alarak. Still the 2 fort lead that we have for the blue team. And here's the level 13 talents. Spell Shield is in. It hungers for Uther. And yeah, now they have a lot more survivability. And they can get a kill. They get 1, and I guess they're gonna get 2. There's no chance for Ender to get out of this one. So they got 2 kills. Liming also gets popped, but Rutsu isn't really looking too great here. Divine Shield is already out. And can they maybe sneak up and get another one? Leap is ready. Whoa! And goodbye, Jaina. Yeah, once that her honey Anduin was dead, Jaina didn't wanna live anymore. She definitely had a little bit of a death wish there, so she gave up her life. She's like, if he's dead, I don't want to live either. So the 2 blondies are gone, and now it might be the end of the Space Goat 2. 5 kills to 13, so Team Ultralisk, I mean, again, they're bringing it. They're slowly but steadily getting back into the game. They still have a 1.5 level gap to bridge in experience if they want to have a chance here. We have 120 stacks now on the level 4, 111 sadism for Alarak. And when we're looking at damage, we have Alarak on 26,000, the same as Sonya. And interestingly, the same as also Jaina. Double pull now with level 16. Yeah, this is a big gap. This is a gap that hurts. I'm actually surprised that they didn't even go for any immortal damage, considering that they are now lacking the level 16 talent, because what are you going to do at this point? Are you really fighting against the opponent that runs level 16? The best you can hope for there is a quick kill somehow, but that would be quite the trick. So if they can pull it off somehow with Leap being ready again and the deadly charge, yeah, maybe, but it's a question mark. So down here, we get already the attack with a light bomb, gets the stun out, Urel comes in too, and Anduin, can they get him? Can they? Oh, Divine Shield on Liming, they need that reset! Jaina dead, Uther dead, Alarak dead, bye-bye sadism, Anduin gets killed as well. It's once again our little couple here getting dropped at the same time, but the blue team wants to go for another one. They go for Stukov. Uther down means that they still have a support, so only one team has to stay in this fight, and that's Kelvin with Stukov. But what can they actually do now? Because that halftime show victory is imminent for Team Dynouh. There is a camp at the top that they can now also fight for, or that could do some damage, but the Quasar is already there, and they themselves have to deal with the bottom of the map since that gate has been destroyed already. Now, they are getting level 16 in a moment, so maybe they can fight. If you lose that Immortal and it has 100% shield, then yeah, you know that you're in for a rough time. So, gotta be careful with this one. But here we go. They have the full 5-man back on the map. They're looking for aggressive plays again. Alarak now with the mocking strikes. We have a Benediction. They try for... big jump into the back. Ice block. Jaina gets out for now. But they are a little bit scattered across the map. And Genji wasn't even here at that time. So currently it's still a 5 versus 4. It's going to change in a second. But maybe Mal'Ganis isn't even going to make it. Yep, he gets completely bullied around and dies. And here comes the deadly charge. Ultralisk just has to be careful that he's not the one that it's going to be deadly for. So 8 kills to 15. And guys, I don't know, but this is a level gap between the two teams. And they're... oh no. I just was about to say this is looking better and better for them, but now Li Ming is gone. They get a great combo off with Alarak though. And now they're flanking in for the rest. Divine Shield is out. Anduin does what he does best. He's running, but unfortunately into the wrong direction. That boy needs to download Google Maps, and quickly at that. Now Genji is down. They get a kill on Sonya, but I'm not quite convinced that this is the right play here to make for Team Dynouh. They only have 2 survivors, and Rutsu in particular with Jaina is insanely low. So maybe the Immortal is going to be won by Dynouh's team after all, but the one thing that I can more or less guarantee is it's not going to be that big of a shield. So now here comes the hit, and the ring did not connect with anything. Quasar's rushing away, Mal'Ganis is back, and they're still trying to reduce the shield as best as they can. Double support currently, and in comes the lurking arm. Mal'Ganis, careful my friend, you don't want to die right away after just now coming back. The action continues, Li Ming is back on the field, and they are actually starting to win this one. They turn this entire objective around. Look at that. They win the Immortal. They didn't only stop the bleeding a bit and limit the amount of damage that was done here. They actually win the Immortal. They turn the entire objective around and now have a chance to take that bottom fort out. Alarak is at 48,000 damage. He's top damage in the game now, and he's sitting at 140 sadism. So Ultralisk has finally started to gain a bit of momentum that could help the team to do their thing. But this game is not over yet by any means. I mean, first and foremost, we have nearly level 19 for Team Dynouh, and structurally they're also still ahead, at least for a few more seconds, because there's no doubt that this fort will fall. But they also need to keep those sadism stacks alive! There's the Divine Shield, better safe than sorry. Coming in again, Darkmok spin to win with Sonya, but now he's in trouble! Yeah, and he's dead. So, no, why? Ultralisk is dead too. Bye-bye sadism. He was at 150 nearly, and now he's back to 90. So, yeah, that doesn't do too well for him. They're losing 3 heroes here. Death Knight is about to die too. He's wasting a bit of their time. Li Ming is sitting at the side, but should probably not even go for a combo. So Death Knight, bit of damage on the keep. But every time that they're about to get back into this game, they're getting more or less wiped. So yeah, 3 heroes down. The fort indeed got destroyed. The wall at the keep got opened up. The keep itself, very little damage. And now here's level 20 for Team Dynouh. So that's unfortunate to say the least. Now Anduin with a sensor. We also have on top of that the deep chill. And we got the living weapon. Seems like they're going to try and push onto the bottom keep a little bit. And again, why wouldn't they? Have an entire level lead and they have Storm Talent, so of course you gotta do something, right? There's the light bomb into the back line. Alarak gets Alaraked. And that is a 5 versus 4. Guys, this might be the end. Nah, maybe not. Darkmok. Oh, nice. Sonya. Milaiki gets out. Kelvin also escapes. They're actually keeping both of them alive. That's big. That's really big. If they would have died, keep's gone. Maybe even the core. So this buys time. But Ultralisk is having a little bit of a rough one. Because currently we're looking at the number of deaths. And he is sitting at 6 deaths. Uther at 7. They're going for the double digits. Who is reaching 10 first? The only one that hasn't died in this entire game is Urel. The Space Goat's still alive. Not dying anytime soon, as it seems. Always popping the ult in time. Anduin has died the most on the blue team. But yeah, now still that pressure down to the bottom of the map. Level 20 around in a few more minutes. Well, seconds. Let's not overdo it here. Halftime show likely going to be lost again, but they will be able to fight for this once more. And keep in mind, the last time that they did this, it actually worked out quite nicely. So the red team is doing whatever they can to force game number 3, and now they have also redemption for Uther. They're coming in with a hasty bargain. They also have Ignore Pain. All in all, good arsenal that they can use here. And this is now the opportunity. Oh, okay. Jaina deleted. Absolutely deleted. She didn't stand a chance. Like, she tried and poke her head out for a moment, and then she got just murdered in the next second. So now they go for... Damn! What is all of a sudden happening? 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. They are absolutely crushing them. And now we're looking at a very similar situation to what we saw previously. The Immortal is nearly taken by Team Dynouh, but Ultralisk and his boys, they have a full 5-man here up. Sonya's still dealing with it. They're still trying to nibble around the edges, but if Dynouh is now getting caught too, if they lose Genji here, then boys, you gotta be careful. This, on the other hand, is a bit of a problem, so the bottom keep is insanely low, and this is something that Genji, for example, could take care of. So they might win this one. I mean, even if they don't, the shield is very low. So the Quasar is now moving in. Death Knight is the one that just welcomes her with a quick stun. Gets another one out. Shield is in. And, well, I guess the red team is going to lose the Immortal race. Indeed they do, but they're gonna kill Genji now, aren't they? Oh, the leap! No! It's the wrong target! Then again, Ultralisk with the Ultra play, and that's a kill. So now they got them in a 5 versus 4 for a bit longer. Gotta take the the catapults out here first. And the Immortal is up at the top. So some pretty sweet sniper plays that we just saw there towards the end, with Leap missing, but Alarak making up for Sonya's mistake and doing well. This game is going to last a bit longer for sure. I mean, we're looking at 36 kills in total. We are 21 minutes into this one. So yeah, catapults are hurting here. It seems like the blue team is now trying to set up another attack at the bottom of the map. Not sure that's going to work for them though, because the top keep, that's of course what they really hope to destroy. They can't really go for the core here, but with everybody chipping in, this keep, it should not drop lower than 50% HP, if at all, and the last shot doesn't come through, so yeah, 60% is where we're at, roughly. Bottom of the map, camps are still taken. Definitely an interesting development now. This is not over yet by any stretch. I mean, just look at this, 100 sadism, not a whole lot. He died too often, Alarak died a lot. Particularly if you consider that they have a double support that they're running here. The Uther main tank usually gives you a lot of sustain that you can play around. But yeah, not quite. Still catapults. You gotta be careful. 22 minutes in now. They hurt. The scaling is real. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody is just trying to control the lanes a bit and push them back, try and catch some camps whenever they can, and wait for the objective. Unless you can get a sneaky kill, which they're trying to get, but the Divine Shield is already out, and there's a lot of ults that were also, or a lot of abilities that were used on the side of Team Dynouh. Essentially, it was a trade in abilities between Anduin and Uther. Granted, cooldown victory for the blue team, but still not that bad. Now, this shouldn't drop the keep either. Bot lane, yeah, at least the tower here is going to get destroyed. Finally. So now the catapults can stop griefing and actually attack the core itself. They have to force this back. Take at least the catapults out. And this is going to be the last Immortal, one way or another. I really don't see a scenario in which the winning team on this objective loses the game. Because we are already 23 minutes in. When the Immortal is taken, it's probably going to be 25 minutes on the clock on Battlefield of Eternity. There's, even if it... I mean, again, it would be quite the game if this Immortal didn't end it. Yeah, I can only see that happening if one team really has to just, like, kill all of their heroes in order to get the Immortal. But even then, the opponent would just go straight for the core. So yeah, this objective is likely going to decide the outcome of the game. It's going to decide whether we're going to go to game number 3 or if Dino and his boys are getting another 2-0 victory. And talking Dino, he comes in, tries with a light bomb. This time, not the connect that they were hoping for. A lot of ults already used here. And Mal'Ganis, careful my friend. The Ring of Frost doesn't connect with anything either. Leap into the back line. Pressure on Anduin now, but over here the attack continues and Dino is gone. Dino gone. It's a kill that leads for the red team. But then again, Sonya dies as well, so they're trading. Rutsu, they want the kill against him and they get it. Now it is a 4 versus 3. 4 versus 3 with a lot of sustain. Captain Rex still running, and now that Ultralisk is saying hello, this is going to be another kill. Oh boy. Team Dino might actually lose this one. I don't believe it. They might lose this. This is looking better and better now for Team Ultralisk. They're looking really strong here all of a sudden. We're having pressure at the Immortal. They're already going for... Oh god, if they can get the Quasar and stagger their death. That would be big. But he also still has his ult. So not risking anything here. Halftime show is already over. Halftime show is done. They are still playing with them down here at the bottom of the map. And can now go back to use that remaining time window to go for the Immortal. And this would be a big shield. If they get that bad boy with nearly 100%, it's going to chunk this down. We're 25 minutes in, everybody. 25 minutes into Battlefield of Eternity, and yeah, this Immortal is 100% gonna end up in the hands of the red team. So this is gonna be an absolute nightmare to defend for Team Dino. They essentially have to wrap around the Immortal, take out Team Ultralisk, and then defend. That's essentially what they have to try and do. And it's going to be nearly impossible, if you're asking me. And if they can force them into a fight down here even more without losing anybody, it would mean that the Immortal gets closer. Light Bomb, Ring, all missing. The leap into the backline was fantastic from Darkmod. Absolutely interrupted the synergies that the blue team was trying to build up. And instant Mal'Ganis is down. That has to be the final nail in the coffin. They're losing all cohesion. Urel is dead. Couldn't even use her ult. The combo of Alarak prevented it from happening. And at the top, the Immortal is already chunking, and it's chunking hard. 42 kills in total. Andun is trying to keep everybody alive. Rutsu hoping for some miracle kill as they flank again. And immediately the combo against Genji. But of course, Alarak, Anduin, they're already there, making their plays. Anduin is low. He gets out. Ultralisk, he dies. But so did Anduin. And the Immortal already took care of the keep. So now it's the core that gets targeted next. And there is just no way to see this any longer. Alarak is back to 66 Sadas Mia. We got him with 80,000 damage though. Li Ming has a little bit more. She's above 80. And this is going to be a tie in this best of 3. We are going to game number 3, everybody, in this series between Team Ultralisk and Team Dino as the red team locks in the W on Battlefield of Eternity. Okay, we're going the distance. Game number 3, the final map in this series between Team Dino and Team Ultralisk. And we got some wild comps here. So, Zarya Garrosh for Team Dino, with Johan on Garrosh, Dino on Chromie, Captain Rex on Malfurion, we got Rutsu on Zarya, and Dequaza on Hogger. The blue team, therefore, starting on Infernal Shrines with a pretty strong front line, a lot of this centered around Chromie, Malfurion, of course, trying to get the lock on targets. And highly interesting what we're getting from Team Ultralisk. Ultralisk himself and Sergeant Hammer, so a full hammer protection combo as they're going for Death Knight on Johanna, Kelvin on Deckard Cain, Darkmok on Arthas, and Lopaka on Artanis. Now, this one's wild. I mean, they have Sergeant Hammer and the entire lineup is just simply protect the Sergeant. That's what they're running here. They have Jojo for Condemn, for Blessed Shield later, for Blind. They got Artanis for some swaps, I assume. So all they want to do here is protect Ultralisk and get him into a spot where he can just murder the opponent's team later on in the game. And I am really intrigued to see how this is going to work out, because this feels like it is... I mean, desperate is maybe the wrong word here, but this still feels a little bit iffy. Now, keep in mind that, obviously, with the particular draft pattern that I talked about earlier, every single hero that has been played previously could not be played again. So that definitely played a role in what was picked in regards to the compositions here. But running 3 tanks, I mean, 1 tank, 2 offlaners, pretty much, depending on how you want to classify it, is still interesting in an attempt to keep Sergeant Hammer alive. There are definitely a few tools on the side of Team Dino that could help to apply pressure to Ultralisk, and we're gonna see what they can do with that particular approach. But yeah, Johan here is already trying to invade, so right from the start they're trying to get some damage in. As long as Sergeant Hammer doesn't have the mobility talent on 7, he should have a bit more. But yeah, I think with Chromie on the other side, this is gonna get a bit dicey. If they had a different hero than Chromie, then maybe this might be easier, but Ultralisk will have to do a whole lot of work to keep himself alive later on in the game. But of course, they're all trying to just go for those 5 versus 5s. The advantage is that there's no global, so it's not like they can play around it. In a different context, I would say that there's a chance for Team Dynouh to play around this composition, but since they're going to be forced into the fights on the objective, they will have to face the music there. And with all of that sustain, all of that beefy front line, and the help that Sergeant Hammer is going to get, the game plan is clearly to just force these 5 versus 5s on the objective, go in, win those Punishers, and push with them and apply an enormous amount of pressure. So falling behind the experience would more or less be a death sentence for Team Dynouh. They really need to make sure that they're not dropping too far and are not, for example, facing off against a talent disadvantage. But as is right now, we're waiting for level 7 in particular when Ultralisk is going to get his mobility and then can do his thing. On the other side, with Garrosh and Zarya, as usual, we now have the speed barrier, and we also have Indomitable, sorry, not Indomitable, but yeah, both can play together, so that's going to play a role too. But Garrosh generally benefits very heavily from the speed bubble. This is a pretty iconic duo and combo that has been used in the past a lot. Lauber and the Swedes have kind of made this popular a couple of years back, and now they can just use it to run into an opponent's team, flip somebody over, and see what exactly they can do in regards to off damage to that. So, as is, we are now looking at the first objective already being targeted. Level 7 isn't there yet, so the red team isn't making a big move for it just now, but they have a camp at the top lane still pushing, whereas the blue team does not have that. And yeah, here comes of course Hogger, who gets them a very quick lead. Jojo is doing well trying to counterplay that, but at this point in time the blue team seems like they will win number 1. Now that level 7 is close and also the objective is nearly won, they're still trying to target this. But look at Hogger. Hogger doesn't give a shit. Spin to win is all that we're getting here. They're sitting at 36 currently, and as long as Hogger is alive, they're going to win this one. 38, and well, they're going to take it. 39, they might lose their Quasar, but hashtag worth it. Arcane Punisher for the blue team. They're preventing an opportunity for Team Ultralisk to push with this. Now Ultralisk's team has taken 3 kills. That gives them an advantage in experience. But the big thing is really that they don't have an opportunity to push with a Punisher and the composition that they're running here. So that's at least that. A nice lockdown attempt over here. Captain Rex still able to get out, as it seems. Could also be thrown here. Johan is still fine. Ultralisk, of course, is the only range damage dealer, is dealing with the Immortal and has now also the talent on level 7 that allows him to move out. We got the Demolitions Expert on level 1, and on top of that we get the pinpoint accuracy. So it's 2 heroes in particular that will try to apply some damage to Sergeant Hammer. And Ultralisk is already low back here. And up at the front, now that they're moving a little bit farther away from the main tank, aka Ultralisk, Jojo is getting a bit of a beating. If they can split the team, then Team Dynouh is going to reign supreme here. But it's all going to come down to whether or not they can apply pressure to Ultralisk and force him back in those fights. So the stage has more or less been set. Next objective will be more interesting, even because then mobility will play a factor right from the beginning. But the attack is already coming through at the bottom, and they're going for Garrosh, and they take him down. Garrosh has been eliminated. Nicely done. And it's a half-level lead that will result in an early level 10 for the red team. Also some adjustments here on the build, so we get actually Rune Tap on level 7. Hasn't really gone off for any of the adjustments that you would oftentimes go for with Rune Tap. I mean, again, the idea behind this is to shield Sergeant Hammer, so they were more interested to speccing into Frozen Wastes over here and also into the Frost Presence. So it's a bit of a hybrid. They still have that triple melee approach. And in this case now, it is the Suppression Pulse. One of the problems, obviously, that a lot of the damage is not going to really come from auto attacks. You have, of course, some auto attack damage here that will matter too. But we're still talking Chromie, we're talking Zarya too, that can poke with abilities against Sergeant Hammer. So the double blind that they have in their arsenal is very likely not going to play that big of a role. But we have Stay While Listen, we have Blessed Shield, so a lot of tools that could really help out. But it's all about how they're controlling the hammer. And we got them with Shockwave, we have Expulsion Zone, we got Slowing Sands. The goal, of course, being to bait out the level 4 talent, the siege tactics a little bit early on Sergeant Hammer, and then just being able to lock her down properly, get the root into play, maybe some of Chromie's tools, slowing sands, whatever it is, and take the hammer down. 4 kills to 0, so up to now, Team Dynouh has not been able to get a single kill. But with the next objective, I would assume that things are gonna change, and it gets announced right now. Yeah, Blessed Shield is out. There's a swap. Rutsu is still fine. Malfurion comes in, gets the heal, and they're Gucci. Alright. That was a nice approach. And it was a nice try by Team Ultralisk. If you get the kill here, it really helps you. Some cooldowns have at least been exchanged, but while Hogger is still spinning up at the top, so he's gonna get the camp for the team. The red team is not making a move. They don't have enough time to go for their shaman camp, but they will at least take the initial position and try and go for it. Dartmoor gets flipped. Okay, so a bit of damage on him, and he needs to pop the army. Yeah, gets taunted, and this might actually be the end of him. There's a lot of damage coming through against Arthas, and he is indeed gone. So that is first kill for Team Dynouh at the objective. Job well done. Chromie also with the timeout, and Sergeant Hammer isn't doing as much as they would have wanted here. So Jojo's gone too, and with 2 of the frontliners dropped, that means that Team Ultralisk will have to back off here. So a very, very nice start into the fight for the blue team, and they're not done yet. They want to go for Ultralisk too. There's the flip, and Ultralisk is gonna die. That's 3 kills. They didn't have a single kill up to this fight, and then they took out 2 of the tanks, and then they dropped the 3rd tank shortly after. So now we're looking at nearly even kills. Them attacking the mid lane. The wall is already destroyed. At the top, the wall got taken out by the camp, and they are in an absolute fantastic spot to apply even more pressure onto these structures. And what I said earlier about the blue team kind of applies about the red team as well. If they fall too far behind in stats, levels, abilities, then it is going to be a rude awakening very quickly. Their whole goal was to have a composition that relies on Sergeant Hammer surviving through these battles, make it nearly impossible for Team Dynouh to get close enough, and then use Ultralisk to just sustain through these fights and take him on. And here it's difficult, because once that the Punisher jumps, he needs to use his siege tactics, so they are moving away from that fort immediately. Chromie just bullying them from a distance is another problem. And the attack continues. It's also a Mortar Punisher. Normally I would say, yeah, this one doesn't really matter too much. But whenever Ultralisk has to move back here, it's a problem. And he can do very little damage at this point. Finally has an opportunity to do some. Here comes the BFG. Nice! Good swap too. But it's not enough. Malfurion is here with the heals and uses Tranquility. Jojo goes down. They're going for Darkmock again. And this is not a very successful scenario for Team Ultralisk. They lost some hit points even at the keep, so not only did the fort get destroyed, but the keep is getting pressured too, and they're still not letting up. They're going into the middle, trying to poke the keep down a bit further. I doubt they can take the entire thing, but then again, who knows? It's only 3 defenders now. So, yeah, they're doing a bit more work. Getting it even to 50% HP would help. Ultralisk consistently forced to reposition. And is sitting at 38,000 damage, which is nice for him, leading the scoreboard in hero damage, but it's just simply not enough to do more here. So 5 kills to 4. The situation in experience has also been reversed, so now it's a nearly level lead that we are seeing for the blue team. And again, keep in mind, whoever wins this is the victor of the best of 3 series and gets the most points for the standings and in this round robin phase of the RavenCourt tournament. So they are trying to isolate targets again. They go for Dartmoor. Army has already been popped. BFG is out. Malfurion falls. Nicely done. Finally another kill for Ultralisk and his team. The stun is there from Hogger, but it's not enough to save Zarya. So now we might even see Quasar fall. He is able to move out of the fight, but there's another swap against Johan. But Garrosh is able to also retreat after it happens. Bit more damage done by Chromie. They're still wasting as much of their time as they can, trying to buy time for the 2 dead heroes to re-enter the game. But yes, still nicely done. That, on the other hand, wasn't necessary, I think. Garrosh is dead and Dartmock survives, so another staggered death. a lot of these fights and a lot of these staggered deaths aren't necessarily needed. Hogger would of course love to take this fort down, but Arthas is already walking over to do his thing there. Now, we still have the aggression down here at the bottom. We're also looking at Death Knight doing a bit of work here. But yeah, 16 is now on the board. So we get with that another talent for Team Ultralisk. Horadric's staff is in, Giant Killer is in as well. And the Quasar is also now getting nearly killed, but they are able to get him out. I have to say that Ultralisk BFGs are at least absolutely on point, so he's getting a lot of damage with them too, and that's really chunking down the hit points. Remorseless Winter is in, and also the Biting Cold, so Arthas is really just trying to get as much zone control as he possibly can, which again is obviously fully in line with the strategy that they're trying to play out here. In addition to that, we have down to the bottom of the map, camps taken, same is happening to the top left, top right, so everybody, as the objective is approaching slowly, is going for additional lane pressure that they can set up. I think down here at the bottom lane, maybe the camp is able to get them that 4, depends a little bit on the balance in minions as well, and where exactly they're going to collide. 16 talents are now ready for both teams, Fast Forward is in, we get the Cleansing Shield for Zarya, the Headbanger, and already quite the lead for Team Ultralisk on the Punisher. So they're going for this again, but yeah, good damage against Artanis. Okay, let's see what they can do here. Artanis is insanely low, has to be really careful. Gets the shield out, good zone from Zarya, but Malfurion gets saved by Garrosh. Garrosh loses his life for it, and Malfurion is also down. It is Team Ultralisk who's able to lock in another double kill. Nice. Very nice. This, on the other hand, is probably not going to make them too happy. So yes, this bottom fort is indeed losing more hit points, but it seems like the Punisher is going to be a lock at the top, and this is a frozen Punisher that we're talking about now. So with this help, they should be able to take a fort down too. So, unless... Nah, there's no way. 27, 28 stacks, 12 seconds for Garrosh to just be back, and then travel time too. There's no way. But the bottom fort has indeed been destroyed, so that is already a bit of a win. They were able to take one of the forts down. All of this here still continuing. 37, 38, they're gonna get this one. And then it's just a matter of time until we're having a full-fledged out push with Ultralisk just assisting with range damage. Bait over the wall. I mean, the wall's pretty much gone, so not really much of a bait here. They get a flip, but, well, Garrosh is about to go down again. Can they get enough damage in? Garrosh! And, yep, he's gone. He came, he saw, and he died. Benny Vidi BG. Just came back into the Nexus and gets murdered immediately, and then they take Zarya down as well. Team Ultralisk, ladies and gentlemen. Some real nice pressure. They absolutely got murdered on the first map. Map number 2 looked insanely bad for them too, but they turned it around, and now they might just be able to get themselves into the lead. They have a nice advantage in experience. They have a very beefy composition. It all hinges on Hammer surviving and getting the damage through in long and sustained battles. Chromie is definitely his biggest enemy now, and it's going to be up to Artanis to get close enough to Chromie to really pressure here. Dynouh is just barreling away. Dynouh is just trying to get hammer damage in as much as he can. 78,000 for Sergeant Hammer. Looking at, yeah, cracking the 80k. And at the top, the wall now gone, so that's another one that they can destroy. Yeah. Already baited out, Punisher is gone, but here in the middle they could do more damage, and damn, they're so close to level 20 now. So close to level 20 and Ultra Capacitors. Ultralisk also with the 16 talent, meaning that we now have Giant Killer, so that's going to help him even more. Particularly that front line, Garrosh and Zarya, they're not going to like this whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, playing against such a hammer is always annoying. So they need to somehow get in there. If anything, I'm probably a little bit surprised that they Quasar didn't go for Hortipult here. If you can get quickly to Sergeant Hammer, then again you find yourself immediately surrounded by 3 frontlines that control all your movement. So they wanted to go for stuns instead, and it's not like that talent doesn't give them any value. They have really, really nice CC chains that they can still unleash with what they're running here. They just have to get proper access to anybody. But they also have to bridge that 1-level lead. Ultra capacitors are in. We get the Radiating Faith, Anti-Magic Shell even for Arthurs. And yeah, let's see what we're gonna get for Artanis. Could get the second charge if you wanted to. Either way, it is currently a battle for level 20. And honestly, they are able to bridge it fairly easily. I thought that maybe the objective would still happen around the early stretches of level 20 and them still having an advantage, but nope. They're gonna get level 20. They might have to sacrifice the fort. It's not a big deal. It's a bit annoying since they don't have a fallback option during the next fight if they lose it, but they might even be able to save it, and even if they do lose it, it's just even Steven, since there is no fountain on the red team side either. So yeah, they're trying to make sure that they have that at least done, but they're getting zoned out by Chromie. It's 2 range damage dealers that are doing work here. Camp is being pinged as they're like, guys, we gotta take it. Hogger is already on it and claims it very early, and he has level 20. So both teams now have access. Piercing Sands are in. And we got the Grenadier as well. So that is not too bad either. Grenadier is in, more and more poke damage from Rutsu that he can fire out. Haven't taken a look at his damage in quite a while, so he's sitting at 55,000. That's pretty good. And I mean, look at Ultralisk. Talking about pretty good damage. Yes, Rutsu is pushing Ultralisk farther and farther back. So when Ultralisk doesn't do the damage, they can take these frontliners out without big problems. There's a lot of sustain, but yep, there's a double flip. There's a couple of stuns coming out immediately. They try for the kill on Jojo and they get it. Jojo gone, Darkmok in some trouble, might also die, and Artanis gets controlled very nicely by Garrosh himself. Ultralisk is still on the run, and Artanis trying to escape here, but they're not done with him. They're not done with him anytime soon. Lopaka is dead, and that is a 5 versus 3 on the map. The keep is open, they want it, they're likely going to get it, and Hogger, as you can see on the minimap, is already moving towards the objective, so they want both. They want the keep, they want the Punisher, and they have, in addition to that, even a push coming through the top lane with the Shaman camp. So they're looking extremely good here. All that poke against Ultralisk is finally paying off. He has to deal with Zarya, he has to deal with Chromie, and it's just a bit too much. So now they lost the top side wall pretty much completely. Blue team is moving over there since they have another 10 seconds until Jojo is back. Applying pressure onto Darkmok, dropping him down to 50% HP, and the more... Oh no, Ultralisk! Oh baby, yeah, run out there. Thankfully for him, he was fast enough to get away, because if he dies before Jojo gets back, they are in a completely different world of pain. So now we have 8 kills to 11. Blue team is behind in kills, but they have a Punisher moving through the mid lane. Likely going to be baited down to the bottom, but up at the top, the second keep has just now fallen. So they are dropping farther and farther behind. I mean, don't forget, they have only dropped a fort. The only thing that the red team has taken down so far is a single fort. They lost 2 keeps now. So they are in real trouble. They need kills and they need them quickly, or they're going to lose the game right here and right now. Sergeant Hammer doing the best that they can. Ultralisk zoning them back, 100,000 damage, so 6-digit club already for the Sergeant. But the fight is split all over the place right now, all over the base. Garrosh might fall here. He gets out though, and the core is already losing hit points as we speak. 88%. They're trying to go for it. That Punisher isn't done yet either. And here comes Malfurion with his ult. Jojo's the first one to fall. And Sergeant Hammer is gone. And so are the hopes of Team Ultralisk to turn this series around. Team Dynouh with another victory. They were able to take down Banana H and his team, and now with 13 kills to 11, they dropped Team Ultralisk. Nicely done. Great series. They were able to win on the final map on Infernal Shrines and take out Team Ultralisk once more. GG.